my fellow readers. Today I'm going to be talking about the shoujo series Anonymous Noise. I have made mention of Anonymous Noise in other videos, in particular like tag videos. This is a series that I feel does not get talked about a lot. I think a lot of people will be like, oh, it's just, kind of typical shoujo. But I feel like more people should give this a read. I don't know. I loved my time with the story and with the characters and with just the world of it, and the musicality of it. Anonymous Noise does have an anime adaptation, which I don't think I finished watching. Not that I didn't like it, it just kind of hurts my soul a little. This is an 18-volume shoujo series by Ryoko Fukuyama, and it follows the character Nina Arisugawa. And when Nina is really young, she lives next door to her friend Momo, and anytime that her parents are fighting, Nina will go to her window and like call out to Momo, whose window is like right next to hers, and the two of them will sing, usually Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Nina loves to sing. Momo is not so good at singing. But the two become like inseparable friends. They go to school together. They're always like holding hands and walking together. They get teased because of that, like, oh, you're in love and dating. But they're super close. Then one day, Nina returns home from school and Momo is gone. His family has moved him away. I think he just had a mom, but anyway, his family has moved him away, and Nina is crushed. She is so heartbroken that I think she runs outside and she just starts like screaming, and she screams and cries and screams. And so she actually develops this problem where she has to wear a face mask like that. In order to not scream all the time. So she wears that face mask, and there are still times where, like, if it gets too much for her, she will go to the ocean and remove the mask, and she will just scream. And so one day she is doing that, and she happens to meet a new boy. And this just happens to be Yuzuru, who is the best boy. He's best boy ever. Yuzuru is there, and he's writing notes in the sand. And Nina begins to sing the melody. And it's like an instant click between the two. In talking with Yuzuru, Nina sort of realizes for the first time in a long time, she can actually relax and breathe, and that is sort of what leads her to sing. And there's little things she notices about Yuzuru. One of the key things in his key description throughout the whole series will be his eyelashes. So he has really long eyelashes, and everybody just sees that. It's a very pretty character. And I don't know, the two just bond and kind of agree to meet up with one another like every Wednesday afternoon, I think. They agree to meet there on the beach, and they will... So when they're there at the beach, Yuzuru doesn't sing, but Nina will sing for Yuzuru, and he's looking at her adoringly, and meanwhile she's thinking, if I sing these songs, will it reach Momo? Just hits you right in the feels. And the two just agree to keep meeting like that every week because, as I said, for the first time, Nina feels like she can breathe and relax and she can sing again. And Yuzuru enjoys Nina singing his songs. So Yuzuru tells Nina at one point that if he sings, he'll turn into bubbles and disappear, which just sort of actually foreshadows the main events in the series in general. But there is a moment when Yuzuru does sing, Nina is overwhelmed with like these feelings of sadness, and the thought that her song is never going to reach Momo, and they'll never see each other again, and just all this regret she has in not being able to see Momo and the loss of that relationship. And for that one moment, Yuzuru does sing for Alice, and he sort of shocks her out of her moment, but also gets her to confess that she, I don't know if it's really a confession, but she declares that she's never going to sing again. If her songs can't reach Momo, then she's just never going to do it again. And he then snaps her out of that, and he's like, no, you should sing. And if you really like this guy, then you have to keep singing, and you have to believe that your song's going to reach him and that you'll see him again someday. Again, he's like the best boy. He's the best character out of the whole series. I'm biased. And he tells her, you know, if she feels like screaming, she should just sing one of his songs. You know, anytime she feels like screaming, she should sing. And you see at that time, too, that Yuzu's little heart is a little bit broken because he was forming an attachment to her, and now knows that she has this these feelings for this boy. Yeah, it's a little heart-wrenching. One thing I'll also point out is during this time of their meeting, Yuzuru comes to call Nina Alice. So you will see in a lot of the series that Nina is called Alice. Well, I mean, her last name's Arisugawa, so it's not like that weird or far off, but he calls her Alice. And that nickname does sort of stick in the series, but there's like reasons for it. So one Wednesday, Alice goes to Alice. See, I just said it. Nina/Alice goes to meet Yuzuru, and he's not there. And there's a note written in the sand that's "Bye bye, Alice." So when she sees that note, she starts to sing and to cry, and just like that, like Yuzuru is out of her life. So he became friends with her, left her with this great advice and music, and then had to disappear. And then there's definitely more to that story that, of course, will get uncovered. So we jump forward into the future, and Nina is getting ready to start high school, and she is passing by a young man, and there's just the thought about it won't be long before we meet again, and it's Yuzuru. It jumps to a band playing on stage, and there's like talk about the band. The band is called In No Hurry to Shout, and news about whether the band's breaking up and all of this jazz. And that's sort of like, it gets complicated to describe, but essentially that band In No Hurry to Shout is the school that Alice is going to. It's their like pop music club. I don't think anybody knows that, if I remember correctly, because In No Hurry to Shout wears like costumes and masks. So think like how we all look during COVID. It's like that, where they're masked up and wear other costumes that hide their features. So I don't think anybody knows that, you know, hey, this band is the same. But Alice does get to see like the band, I think, performing as the club band, not the actual band, at school. And it's hard to describe like what happens next, but essentially like when Alice realizes that Yuzuru is there, she like tackles him. She's so excited to see him. And then you start to get like hints of the band, and that maybe one that Yuzuru has talked about Alice/Nina before, and kind of discovering like she was his muse, And even though the band was considering breaking up because Yuzuru was having difficulty writing songs, that suddenly he is inspired again. And then soon Nina / Alice is getting dragged into the band, and you realize like all of the In No Hurry to Shout members are named for Alice in Wonderland characters. It's kind of funny. I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, Yuzu actually like has 2 different names because he's like Cheshire, but he was also like the image for Alice, if I remember correctly. Anyway, it's funny. You gotta see that part. Like funny, but not like funny. It's just because he's so short that they used him for that model. it's just funny. Because there is the thing that Yuzu is short, and now he's shorter than Alice, and there's like talks about how tall they are. Oh, height humor is always funny. Yeah, so they end up recruiting Nina into the band after they hear her sing as Alice, and of course her being kind of the muse of Yuzuru. Unfortunately, that also causes a lot of issues in the band because they did have another girl who likes Yuzuru as the main singer, and so she feels threatened and unhappy about this whole situation. And you will get to know like all the rest of the bandmates. They all have like their little stories. I like band stories. They do deal with a lot of like human interaction, and then I love music, so having band stories like that, I don't know, it's very engaging to me, and this was no different. Not really a spoiler because obviously it's going to happen. Momo does come into play in the story, not within volume 1, but like very soon after he comes back into the story, and there is a lot of like tension there. There's that love triangle that you love and hate the whole time, because you can't hate Momo, and you get to know a little bit more about his story, but you also absolutely cannot not love Yuzuru because he's a great character. I've said in other videos, I consider Yuzuru really the protagonist of this story. It is Yuzu's friendship with Nina and his whole backstory, which is really the crux of the whole series. It's really getting to know what happened to Yuzuru in the past. Why doesn't Yuzuru sing? Why does he seem driven to create as much music as he possibly can right now? And, even that story of their childhood, like, what was he doing then and where did he go? So it's really getting that story that's the crux of this series. It is not, it's not really about Nina. It's not really about Nina's, relationship with Momo. Like, that's part of it, because that also really relates to the band and to Yuzuru, but really it's Yuzuru's story that's the driving force of the series, and it's an interesting story and it's an emotional story, and I really, really liked it. You will also, of course, get all of the band members' stories and who they like, who they might end up in relationships with. It's just really good. And you will find out more about Momo too, like where did Momo go? What is his story? What's been going on? Why does he do certain things that he does? You'll get that too. Again, it's an 18-volume series, so there's a lot of reading. But I just really loved it, and I don't think enough people read it or are talking about it. But I would say, yes, if you like music, if you like bands, if you like shoujo, and even with shoujo, if you like relationship fiction, and I would say that these characters are also pretty authentic characters. I think they're believable in a lot of ways. I think Anonymous Noise is worth a read. Those are my thoughts. So that's it for this video. Until next time, bye.